Hi. I'm working on my patience that I told you in the last video I had none of in regards to anything in my life. But I'm working on that. So, let's see. Okay, there's a couple people. There's two people. Can't see who they are. I'm not sure. Oh, hi, Angie. How's it going? 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 I don't like waiting, so I'm trying to think. I might start doing like mini comedy sketches or ascension jokes or songs while I'm waiting for people to come on. And the benefit of that, with all the algorithms going on with Facebook right now, videos are getting pushed to the bottom. If you guys are making videos, the only way I'm seeing them is for me to go directly to your feed and look for those things, because live videos just are not showing up in the feed. So I want to give people a chance to show up. Hi. Thanks for the heart, whoever that was. I can't tell who that is. Some of you guys, oh, Dawn. Oh, sorry, Dawn. Some of you guys have really easy to see small pictures, and so I recognize you from your picture. Not everybody's are easy to see, though. It's Friday night. I always started this video at 4:44. People might have different things to do and they might not be here, so I might be my usual self and and start anyway. I have written more in the month of December. I know we're not that far into the month of December, but I have written more in the month of December and received more messages in the last couple weeks than I have in a long time. And a lot of things are coming through for me now that I think are really, really important. And if you haven't read the last 3 articles that I wrote, I think those things are really important. I did talk in the first video and the earlier writing about the apex energy of the eclipse, and that most people were going to start going through that between the 6th and the 12th, and that's kind of where we are now. And so I noticed a lot more people were going through that now. So I wrote, the first article was about the total eclipse and the apex happening on the 4th. Then the following article was titled Part 2, the total eclipse of the heart. And then there was the third one, which is about semantics. If you find the post, that last post actually has all of the links for all 3 articles, and you can read all of those together if you want. Yes, it's you, Dawn. I see you. Hi, Natalie. How's it going? Natalie, Dawn, and Michelle, I think I recognize that little picture. Yes, okay, there's 6 of you here. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to wait until I started talking about it. But again, those last 3 articles were super, super important to me about how the collective is processing, when the collective's going to start hitting more of the realizations, watching more of that stuff. Hi, Amy. How's it going? So if you haven't read those, definitely go back to the 3 articles that I've written just in the month of December. That information is super, super important. And you're going to see people going around and feeling the people around you and in your circle of family and friends experiencing this at a later date. I have never felt an eclipse energy that has been this strong. And we're actually going to be processing and experiencing it for the next 3 to 6 months, kind of depending on how fast you download and how fast you assimilate to what you've downloaded and that kind of stuff. I won't say what kind of message this is, because that'll draw attention to this. And I know that that's not a good idea for myself. However, I do think this is really super, super important. On December 8th, I received a bunch of rapid fire messages while I was driving, and did the best I could to remember everything that was happening around me and what those messages were. And that was that there is going to be a purple light wave incoming. And I see that there are several people that are feeling this and visualizing it or hearing it, however you process as well. So there's this huge purple incoming light wave, disruption of everyday routine, emergency, blackout, silence, communication lines are jammed, and I saw like phone lines were just red everywhere. And tech is going down at this time. Let there be peace on earth and let there be light. This is really, really important, guys. And I hate to throw dates out there because I don't know exactly when this is going to happen. But I for sure know that it is going to happen. The reason that I am telling you this and sharing this with you is not just to, put that fear frequency out there. I'm telling you this for a very specific reason. And the very specific reason that I'm talking to you about this now is because of telepathy. Most of us have the ability in one capacity or another to be telepathic. It's starting to turn on or been turned on for people within the last several years, if not longer for you. And I'm going to tell you why this is important. A lot of people are going to freak out when they can't reach out to other people or check on other people to make sure they're okay. Okay, so that's a pretty big thing. Telepathy is really going to be imperative going forward from this time. There have kind of been spotty outages of technology on different platforms at different times. The way we want to and need to deal with this is like this. Well, there's a couple different things you can do. For one, if it's people in your immediate family or people you live with, I make a suggestion of having some kind of visualization contact. And what I mean by having a visualization contact is this. A couple of years ago, I had a friend that was in a witness protection program. And in order to communicate with me telepathically, she wanted me to buy the exact same scarf that she had bought from a department store. I did not have the money to buy that scarf, nor did I want to tell this person I didn't have the money to buy that scarf. So we were practicing our technology for exactly what is starting to happen now and is going to continue out probably, I would say, into 2022 for sure. You really want to make sure that if it's your family or someone's you need to stay in specific contact with, that you're able to do that. With this girlfriend of mine, she bought this blue and white scarf and just told me to put on my scarf any time I wanted to connect to her. Since I didn't buy the scarf, I just pretended that I was putting it on, visualized myself with the scarf and said, okay, I'm getting a hold of you telepathically right now. And it worked every single time, even though I did not have that scarf. So you can do it that way. The other way that you can do it that's really super, super effective is this. Now, if you've ever noticed people that make videos where they don't show their face, or they do tarot readings where they don't show their face, or radio shows or any of that, the reason those people have chosen to do it that way is because those people are very cognizantly aware of the fact that when someone is looking at you and in video form or in picture form, you are 100 times more likely to know that they are looking at you, talking to you, whatever. They've done a lot of studies. They've been studying this, I think, since the 70s. So again, that's why I'm telling you this. If you have a picture of someone and you're looking at it, you can make communication with that person. And that's not going to work on your phone. But, oh, that's really weird. Something's popping in the ceiling as I'm saying that. I'm not sure what that means. Okay, so telepathic communication is going to be imperative for this next couple weeks into 2022. That's why I'm talking about it. The most effective way from studying this, they know for sure without a doubt that it dilates your pupils, it raises your pulse, it changes your heartbeat, it does all these things because that person is able to hear you. Now, somebody on the lower end of the telepathic scale may say, okay, I know Tina's thinking about me right now. Somebody in the middle range telepathic scale might say, Tina's thinking about me right now and trying to send me some kind of communication. Somebody in the higher telepathic realm, like myself, is going to say, okay, Tina's looking at me. She's telling me that her phone's not working. Something's happened. She's not able to be where she said she is, but she's okay. I know that. So either way, in any one of those three scenarios, we're all capable of a certain spectrum of telepathic communication. Okay. And again, it goes back to a lot of people know this. That's why they make videos and do presentations without their face being involved, because they don't want to receive that outside energy or influence from other people. I don't choose to do it in that way, but I will tell you, I feel energy from people sometimes, and I do have to block them from watching my videos. So that's the first thing that I wanted to talk about, was the importance of telepathy right now. The second thing kind of goes along with that as well, and that is prayer. Prayer is highly beneficial, and they know that it works to the capacity of about 70% in recent studies. So if you are asking for prayers on Facebook, like I did, I think back in October, when I asked for prayers, I specifically put a close-up picture of my face on there. And what I've been discussing is the exact reason why I did that. That it just comes directly into your reception if you choose to do it that way. So if you're asking for prayers for yourself or someone else on Facebook, it really works best if you post a picture of them. If you, for whatever reason, don't want to do it or don't have access to the picture and you want to ask for prayer immediately, make sure you're putting that person's name, just not saying, I want to pray for, so-and-so's nephew 3 times removed, because your prayer is going to do something, but it's not really focused in on that exact person. So use a picture and also list that person's name specifically when it's asking for prayer. This will really magnify that. And I've never said this before, but I got on Facebook, I think in 2007 or 2008. And initially I sat there for many years without saying anything. And what I would do is scroll through the feed, and anybody that was having a hard time, I would pray for them. The people asking for prayer, but also just people in general that looked like they needed some kind of help or assistance. So I've been doing that for a really long time. I want to share a very interesting thing that happened to me. I am able to remote view. I've never studied remote viewing. I've never read anything about remote viewing. I just know that it's something that it does exist, and I know that our government's been using it for the last 5 decades, admittedly. So who knows how long before that. What happens to me is I spontaneously remote view something, and most of the time I'm spontaneously remote viewing is the sun. So when there is a sunspot that forms and then that sunspot lets off, I see it right when it happens. So 48 hours, 72 hours before you'll see any kind of KP index reports or information about solar flares coming through. That's why I've seen it 48 hours, 72 hours, because it takes 48 to 72 hours approximately to get from the sun to our planet. I see that when it happens. Again, for me, remote viewing is totally spontaneous. I have intentionally done it twice in my life. One time was in 8th grade. One time was about 5 months ago when somebody very prominently in our community disappeared, and I was very, very concerned for that person's safety. And I actually remote viewed them a couple times and had very great reason and cause for concern. And so those are the only 2 times I've ever intentionally used remote viewing. As we, these gifts come with a lot of responsibilities. I could just go, I suppose, look at people's personal situations, maybe the stock market, again, all kinds of things. I don't do that. That's a responsibility. Again, if I feel someone is in danger, I will show up. And like I said, I've only done that twice in my life. But sometimes spontaneous remote viewing does happen to me. It's mostly with energetic things and with the information that I'm putting out to you in videos and in the form of writing articles that is coming most of the time from remote viewing things. And a lot of places, when I'm remote viewing, I don't even necessarily, unless it's the sun, that's blatantly obvious, I don't know where I am. I don't know whose conversation I'm hearing. But I have actually seen things show up in articles from David Wilcock after hearing certain information that happened to me for the very first time at the end of the end of December 2015, I overheard a conversation between David Wilcock, Corey Good, and some kind of off-planet alliance. I did share that information with someone, and he put it out an article maybe 3 or 4 weeks later. And the person that I shared that with was really blown away. But again, that's a spontaneous thing that happens. And when it happened, I didn't know it was David Wilcock. I didn't know it was Corey Good. I knew for sure it was off planet information, alliance information. I did know that, but I did not know who directly, what beings the information was coming from. I was not aware of that at all. And until my friend called me and said, here's the David Wilcock article, it's your turn to read. And I started reading it to him, and I was like, oh my God, this is everything that I told you. So very interesting that the one person I decided, at that point I was not sharing that stuff at all. So the one person I decided to share that remote viewing that happened to me called me, and all of it came out in the David Wilcock article from 2000, I think early 2016, just a couple weeks later after that happened. Another time spontaneous remote viewing happened was there was a girl in my feed about 6 months ago who had a couple of triple bypass heart surgeries. And I saw her in my feed. She was really distraught. She was in the hospital. She was waiting to be seen by the doctors. And she asked if people could pray for her. So I immediately started praying for her. And I had never talked to this person, so this was really weird and somewhat embarrassing. But when I started praying for her, I saw that there was another patient, a middle-aged Indian woman in the bed beside her, and she was actually in a worse state than the person that I was praying for. And I was standing next to her bedside, and she was, for whatever reason, she was on some kind of breathing machine. She wasn't able to talk, but she was telepathically trying to communicate to the person that I was praying for. When I ended up in the hospital room between the two of their beds, and the Indian woman was asking me to please get this other lady's attention and ask her to come over and have a conversation with her. Again, very strange and kind of embarrassing, but I said to this lady, is there someone else in the room with you that can't speak? She wants you to come over and hold her hand. I know, can you get to this person in your room, are you able to get to this other person in your room and hold her hand and tell her everything is going to be okay? She really wants you to come and sit with her and hold her hand. So I've done a lot of praying for people on Facebook, and that's the first time where I ended up remote viewing and being spontaneously in the room with those two people. So again, not something I try to do, not something I've studied. I am thinking about taking up the study and starting to remote view some of these timelines possibly, so that we have more information to work with. It's just a thought. I'm not sure that I'm being called into that direction. But that is kind of an idea that popped up to me. Kind of a lot of things running through my head, and I have a lot of things written down that I want to kind of, I have been wanting to kind of make shorter videos and kind of stay more on track, because a lot of things that come through, it's stuff over here and stuff over here, and it's kind of, there's a lot going on right now, for sure. But I wanted to make sure that people know that there were going to be, and I hate talking about this because this has been talked about for the last couple years, guys, but it's really, really close. I am seeing, and I don't keep track of the news whatsoever. Sometimes you guys may send me stuff and I may check it out. Most of the time I don't even do that. But I am starting to see that there are spotty outages coming through in the last couple of weeks, and those spotty outages are going to end up in disruption of everyday routines, emergencies, blackouts, complete silence, jammed phone lines, and down technology. So please, work on with your spouse or just your immediate family, your best friend, whatever. Maybe these are people that are, not close to you. Maybe geographically they're a lot of miles apart. They could even be overseas. We're very, very much connected to people on those nodal grid points. We've become, at this point, those nodal grid points. And so we're connecting with people that without the cell phone or without Facebook, we're not going to be able to get a hold of them unless we can use telepathy. Okay. So whatever that is, pick something, either get that. If you don't have a physical picture, just use a unicorn or a rabbit's foot or whatever symbol, whatever thing that you have to look at or that you can conjure up in your mind to be able to communicate with that person at a basic level, to let them know that you're okay, and also be able to check in on them. So really, really super important that we work on strengthening our telepathy at this time. And I know most of you guys have been in and out of telepathic updates, and we've had a lot of those brain updates lately. So we've had a lot of it, telepathic pineal gland, things being turned on, things really being connected. So you're experiencing this with a lot of people. And sometimes when we first experience it with people, I will say, I've been unnerved by it by myself, and I've had other people also be unnerved by it with me. Okay. But it's not a spying thing. It's a thing. It's a gift. Okay. And we of course we have to use those gifts responsibly. But those gifts are being turned on right now for a reason. Okay. There's going to be a big need to telepathically, communicate right now. I will tell you about this experience I had recently where telepathy was absolutely imperative. I had a government office I'd been trying to get a hold of for a couple days without any luck. I called, I got through on the very first ring. I'm talking to this lady. She has a really thick accent. And in America, a lot of our customer service tends to be overseas, Asian countries, India specifically, and the Philippines. This person did not have an Indian or Filipino accent. I couldn't place the accent, and I just kept feeling like it wasn't even from this planet. I'm not going to mention which government agency this was, but I will tell you this. First, I couldn't place her dialect, the intonation of her voice, and I am really, really super good at that game. And then the next thing that happened was she said, okay, let me go ahead and take a look at your account here. she took a look at my account and I could hear her tapping on the keyboard, but she started just going, I'm talking in light language. And I had her on speakerphone, and I said, I apologize for putting you on speakerphone, but my phone is very prone to dialing people or calling people on Messenger when I don't mean to, and all kinds of stuff. And I want to make sure that I don't end up hanging up on you or dialing someone else or something. And she said, okay, it's fine. I totally understand. This government agent employee was speaking light language. And I thought about actually trying to get my tablet to work to record this, because I thought no one's going to ever believe me when I tell them this. She did this for about 5 or 6 minutes. And then I just got this big smile on my face. And I said to her, I'm sorry, are you waiting for something? Are you waiting for me to say something? Do you need more information from me? And she said, nope. And she went right back to her light language. Now, I had to file a claim for something. It took 34 minutes to file the first claim, and I was 18 claims to go. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be on the phone with this person for 4 hours. She went back to speaking light language. The more she spoke light language, the less I understood of her dialect and her actual English. And by the end of the conversation, I didn't understand I don't know what it was about the connection or what it was about her. Again, felt like it was totally out of this world and off of this world. And that's why when I mean off of this world or like out there, that's why in my articles, when you see in parentheses non-local, that's what I'm talking about. This is a message was something that's come to me non-local, not from here, non-local out there. Towards the end of this conversation, this lady was talking to me, and the only reason I had any clue what she was saying is by the tone of her voice. I was able to respond to her not only in yes or no answers, but completely respond in full sentences when I had no idea what she was saying in English. There was zero English coming through. So I wanted to share that experience with you, because things are really, really getting wonky. And it's a lot of times if someone has a really thick dialect or something, is like I said, I'm really, really good at this game. If I can hear 1 or 2 words out of each sentence, I know exactly what they're saying to me. But this was beyond anything I have ever experienced, for sure. Hi guys, welcome. Just wanted to practice for fun. Yeah, exactly. It is fun. And there are times when you need telepathy. There are times when your car breaks down. There are lots of times when your cell phone doesn't work, when your computer doesn't work. This is imperative. And we're used to it, and we take it for granted because we've had these, our phone is this basic computer. We can get a hold of anybody, any place geographically, and in 2 seconds, anywhere on the planet that we want to, in an almost instant way. And it's like instant gratification. And then when we don't have it, we get really frustrated. But every time your phone goes out, every time your computer stops working, that is a direct message from the universe to practice telepathy. Now, you don't need to do it with all 3,000 of your Facebook friends. That's not necessary. But and you've known for the last couple of years that when shit hits the fan, there's a few people in your life, okay, that are nowhere near you that are gonna want to know if you're okay. So send this video to them, or just have the discussion with them. Pick something, a picture, a totem, whatever it is, so that you can telepathically communicate back and forth with that person. That's funny. Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. Natalie said I use it when my husband is shopping and she needs something, and she said it works every single time. Though I think you told me that he's not aware that you're doing it, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's really important to practice that. And again, I'm not here to talk about the negativity but and this incoming light it's a gift, people, for sure. If you haven't seen that post, go back through it, because when I came home and I was writing down the information about the purple light and the energy disruptions and the technology going down, it said this is in the left side of the article, that's what you're receiving, and then on the right side of the article in parentheses, what you should be doing, what you should be projecting on there. Okay. Blackout, I think, was go within, silence, be calm. It's really, really imperative, especially there are a lot of you that live in the city like me, and when this shit hits the fan, okay, it's going to be really weird. I'm already experiencing really, really strange energies and strange things with my neighbors and stuff like that. And yeah, so it's going to be very, very interesting. And hello, Susan. I do think I am going to try to stick to my word and keep it short. The last thing that I do think I want to mention to you is something that was really cool. You guys, I've been experiencing these things my whole life. It's just that only recently I am sharing them. When I was about 8 years old, I'm pretty sure it was 8 years old, I had a dream, but it was lucid, and I was completely cognizant of what I was experiencing. And this dream was, and we lived out in the country, so our parents, if I got up and did this, it was not going to be a cause for alarm. But the dream was that I was called to my backyard. So I got out of bed and I walked down the steps and went into my backyard, and there's this beautiful cherry tree, but it was maybe 8 or 9 o'clock at night, so it wasn't pitch dark, but it was dusk, and I could just see stars everywhere. So I did, this might be hard to put into words. Okay, so I was dreaming this, but I was also doing this. So I go down the stairs, I go outside, and it's my yard. I see what is normally in my yard, but I also see off in the distance, maybe 40, 50 feet off, I see that there's a ticket booth, like an old-fashioned ticket booth used to look like. And it's dark outside again, or dusk, it's almost dark, and there's stars everywhere. And I just see this little ticket booth in my backyard with this person working inside, not paying attention to the fact that I'm there. She doesn't see me, she's just in that ticket booth doing her job. Well, what's her job? Well, she's selling tickets, but to what? So this happened when I was 8 years old. I saw it when I was 9. I saw it when I was 10. I saw it when I was 11. I saw it every year, once a year. I saw this vision of me going down the steps and witnessing this ticket booth in my backyard. About 2 months ago, when the yearly vision came back to me, I walked, obviously I don't live in my childhood home anymore, but I walked down the steps out in the yard and saw the ticket booth. And this time I just kept walking up to the ticket booth until I was up at the ticket booth. And I thought, what am I even here for? Oh, wait, she's selling tickets. And I thought, well, what is she selling tickets to? There's no signs, okay? There's no language, there's no verbiage, there's no decorations, there's nothing. This is just a blank ticket booth. And then I went up and I hit the bell, and she lifted up her head and I saw her. And this whole time, almost 40 years, okay, it was me in the ticket booth the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, it's me in the ticket booth. What can I order? What am I offering myself in the ticket booth? And she looked at me and she said, you can order anything in your reality that you want. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And how did I sit with that vision for, I'm not that quick at math. Okay, I'm 51. This happened when I was 8. So a long time ago. But I had this repeated vision for a year. And then I realized it was me in the ticket booth and that I could order anything I wanted. And somehow my higher self, I guess, was trying to come through at 8 years old and tell me that. As you can see, it took me decades to figure it out. So I wanted to share that really magical story with you about how we have the ability to order anything we want. And most of you guys know that I play this game a lot. And every once in a while I see someone on my post saying, you know, why are you doing this? Or what is this post about? Or I didn't know you were getting married. Congratulations. Or whatever it is, because they're kind of not, every once in a while someone's not in the same realm. But yesterday I posted these pictures of all these beautiful dresses because, as I've talked about before, Facebook is just a giant projection and manifestation of anything you want. I'm looking forward to that occasion more. I don't know if it's going to be blue or purple. It's a toss-up, though most of you guys picked the blue dress for me. But anyway, that's what I'm using Facebook. And I know sometimes it seems really weird to people. I can read that energy that I'll go from talking about communication disruptions and technology being down, and then I'll switch over to unicorns and dresses. Okay, but that's how these messages come to me. That's the game of the imagination that I'm playing. I'm putting that creativity out. I'm walking up to that ticket booth and I'm ordering that future that I want for myself, that cause for celebration, that ride in on the unicorn to the ball, so to speak. So that's why I'm going back and forth and doing that, and using that creativity is what gets me so in touch with my multidimensional self and the remote viewing of this kind of information that we need right now is a heads up. Sometimes it's a heads up just in a couple of days. Sometimes it's a heads up. I've realized through looking at my feedback, my memories on Facebook, which I never used to do, that last year, almost every single thing I posted last year was this year and to the day. But as time speeds up and things kind of, we're losing our grasp with the time-space continuum, which means if I see something on December 8th, it very may well could pop into our laps on December 23rd. I was getting the 21st to the 23rd on that power outage and stuff like that. So again, that's why I wanted to share that with you guys now. Trying to at least make an effort here. I appreciate you guys giving me the support on YouTube. I think this is like the 3rd or 4th video now that's on Facebook and not on YouTube. And as soon as I can get that figured out, I'm going to transition and stop doing it, because I know Facebook is extremely, extremely limited. But not only that, if you watch it on Facebook, and keep watching it on Facebook, I'm never going to be able to transition over and stop. And I'm not saying I'm leaving Facebook. I'm not saying that at all. But the video part, I'm talking about transferring that over and just making the videos on there so I can grow that platform. And I have a very specific list of goals in growing that platform and easing myself out of doing the videos here on this platform. For those reasons. I hope you guys are doing really great with this energy and all the processing of things that's going on. I will tell you, when I made that first video and that energy came in, that was a lot to deal with. I did not talk to anybody basically for 3 days before I was able to make that video and before I was able to write those 3 articles. That's how strong this was. And again, I'll remind you, it's going to be the next really 3 to 6 months out. So keep that in mind with dealing with people. You might be thinking this energy of the eclipse or these distractions and this disruptions in people's spaces can't still be going on, but it will be still going on. So remember that. Have patience and love with those people. that are around you, because this is something like I talked about last time. We're pulling the curtain off the Wizard of Oz here. I talked about in that group reading that I did also, and I think in the last video too. This is a lot to process. This is not the normal download. And also I can't believe I forgot this, but I forgot to tell you guys that in the last video that this eclipse was not only the unveiling of everything on the microcosmic and macrocosmic level, it also had with it a huge throat chakra upgrade. I've never felt anything like this in my life. So that throat chakra upgrade is huge. If you start going through it, for some reason I was starting to get my singing voice back, even though I felt like I was even having a little bit of a problem breathing or stretching or doing anything, because that whole area, the whole entire throat box and voice box was just really super raw, and in a way I have never experienced. I've had like 4 sore throats in my entire life, and I knew this throat chakra upgrade was coming, and I apologize, I forgot to tell you about it. You probably already experienced it by now. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. Thank you mostly for what you're doing and holding the light for this planet. Sometimes it's more imperative to hold the light and just be the love than it is to do anything else. There is not a whole lot of chance that you are going to throw something in someone's lap right now and they are going to get it, or you're going to wake them up from that. So keep that in mind too. If you feel called to do it, throw something out there, but immediately use your intuition and your telepathy to say, okay, I just threw this out to Tina. What is her receptibility on it? And if you're not getting my receptibility, stop. Don't go any further with it. Because what's happening in this exchange when you try to help someone, and I know it's because you want to help people and you want to share that love and light and you want to help people process what's going on in the world. But if you're doing that and they're receptive, go for it. David Wilcock calls that the cosmic download. If they're not, if I'm not receptive to what you're saying, but you continue, you're throwing your energy down into a blank space, or you're putting your energy into a container that's not productive, because you're not going to get that energy back. And the last thing I want to say that just popped up is this. A lot of you are doing healing work cognitively, and a lot of us are doing it even without the cognition of doing it. I'm going to make a suggestion to you, because when you do healing work, we have this amazing capability to heal. So what's happening is we're giving our energy away. So what you want to do before you go maybe some of you are healing practitioners as well, before you go into any situation where someone needs your healing, put your arms above your head and call in what you need to sustain what you're doing. I now call in the white diamond high frequency light vibration into every cell of my body, so that I may use it to assist other people without depleting my own energy field. Super, 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 super beneficial and helpful, especially right now when these downloads and things they're really zapping the energy, really, really zapping it hard. God, I said I was going to make this a short video. I'm not. Now I'm being called to talk about something else. Okay. Semantics. I posted about this. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I have no idea what day it is. In between this time of the frequency gets turned up, we scatter like the sand, okay? And then it takes us a while. We're not like the metal plate they're using this study for semantics, okay? We're a body, and it's every body. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, metaphysical. It's all of us assimilating to this. So what happens now with this energy being this strong, these downloads are coming in, they're so strong, they've turned the frequency dial up on you, and you're scattering like the sand on that plate. The reason why I'm telling you that is until you come back into form with yourself, You will not be able to carry out 3D tasks. Imperative. I spent 3 days trying to make phone calls, couldn't get through, must dial area code. I mean, anything you can possibly imagine. I'm like, why is it not working? Why is it not working? Why is everything not working? And my energy was scattered second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. I want to say 6 days. 6 days, the frequency was so high in my own field that I could not perform 3D tasks outside of basic necessity. I don't need to explain. I think you know what that means. So what's going on? If you look at us like sand on that plate, that frequency gets turned up. We look in the mirror. We look normal, guys. We're not normal right now. We are vibrationally scattered within our auric field. We're completely scattered. Okay. We're not a physical whole being or avatar right now. And then we assimilate to that, and then we take that shape of that sacred geometry, that download, that latest burst of energy has given us. The next one comes in, we completely scatter out on the plate or in our auric field, just trying to use something that you can imagine. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. This sounds bizarre to me. I had such a hard time understanding what was going on to me until 2 days ago. I saw the semantics, I saw the plate, the sand scattering, the vibration being turned up on us, and I was like, oh, holy crap. That's why 3D is not working, because we're in it, but we're not in it. We're of the world, we're in the world, but we're not of the world, is what I'm trying to get out. So that's going on. So, and it's speeding up as I keep talking about. So every time that new the knob gets turned up on vibration, we're going to scatter. Certain things won't be possible to do during that scattering. You'll be able to draw, you'll be able to sing, you'll be able to dance, you'll be able to walk in nature. I'm talking things that take total 3D attention. So I'm telling you this because I experienced it. It was very frustrating. Just don't even try to do really complicated things like, filing taxes, dealing with government agencies, things like that. When you're scattered, wait till your high vibration, till your high frequency settles back in completely in your field, and then go back to those things. And if you're not journaling, write down how you're feeling when you're scattered and feel like you're all over the place. Okay. It's not because you haven't eaten breakfast. It's not because your attention is in places where it shouldn't be. Okay. This energy is keep getting turned up. I saw this purple wave is a huge wave of 432 Hertz. And then I got this information. I thought, I can't write about this. I sound like an absolute nut job. Okay. And then I was like, okay, well, I am going to write it. So I wrote the whole article down on paper, and right before I started typing it onto Facebook, I looked up, how 432 Hertz specifically works with us. And I could not believe when I read that it literally messes with time. It's part of the unification for space, time, matter, electric, magnetism, DNA codes, all of it. So when we receive this 432, and I'm actually listening to it, I listen to it intentionally to help me with this. But when we receive that 432, we're not used to blast of 432, guys, and listening to it on your headset and meditation is very different than having the whole planet being bombarded with 432. And that's what's going, and I see it coming. It's like in this, it's traveling this purple wave, and it's like it gets up and it's 432. It gets turned on, and I can hear it, you guys. I can hear it. And then it takes a pause. Okay. And then our body gets a rest, and then it comes back and we scatter, and then we pause, and it comes back and we scatter. And I am seeing this happening all the way up until the last of December. And I'm currently right now, I am not able to see, feel, or hear anything past the end of December. So that's very interesting. But anyway, just to let you know, you're not losing your mind. You're not crazy. I felt very crazy when I went on Facebook to type out that article about how we're scattering like sand and coming back together, and how time and space. It's collapsing. This 432 is in direct correlation with the time-space continuum. I felt like such a crazy person saying that. And again, right before I posted it, I looked that up and I was like, wow, okay, note to self on the self-doubt. But, we're not there completely higher self walking around here. So it is what it is. We struggle. We go back and forth with it until we figure it out. The energy has calmed down a little bit, and I don't suspect it's going to be calm. I expect it to amp back up tonight. I haven't heard it yet, but I would say tonight between 10 o'clock and tomorrow between 10 o'clock tonight and 11 o'clock tomorrow, it's going to come back again. And I know you guys are feeling this, and I used to do this, and I know a lot of you are doing this too. We start to feel this energy, and then we may check someone on our page that reports about this on a daily basis. You are going to stop doing that because there's not really a need to do that, and I'm going to tell you why. Initially, we would feel it or feel it before other people when we would look to make confirmation, but now we know pretty much without a doubt that we don't need that confirmation because we know it's happening. We know what it feels like at a cellular level now at this time, so we don't need that confirmation. However, and this is a big however, here's the most important thing about this I want you to know. The scientific instruments that are being used to gauge these different indexes, the different light signatures, light pulses, all the things that these people are tracking to know what's going on electrically and magnetically with the planet. These instruments, when they were made, some of them 150 years ago, they were not, how do I say this? Those instruments are not or are no longer in alignment with the energy that's coming in. So what does this mean? It means you may feel something insane and it may not register at all. What I'm seeing happens is that on the scale of Hertz, it's going up and it's bouncing in this higher realms that they don't have any ability to gauge. And then when it starts to come down a little bit, then they're able to get a gauge on it. So that's the first thing I want to say. That technology is not dealing with the energy right now in a way that is going to be discernibly legible, if that makes sense. Okay, the other thing is our human body, when being turned up to this energy, our human body is gauging it when it happens. So you may feel it tonight and then it doesn't show up on this technology until tomorrow, and it's not being registered it's not being registered when it happens to your body. So what I'm saying is your body is picking up these energies in a much, your body's picking up this energy in a much more tangible, expressive way than any of the technology is able to do. And you're also picking up on it when it happens from its place of inception, which could be 2 to 3 days before the instruments pick up on it. So that's the last thing I wanted you to know. You're going to feel this energy of the Schumann and all these things before it registers, and you're going to feel it in a very different way than it's actually registering. And now I'm going to cut myself off and say goodbye. Okay. Thanks for being here, guys. I'll talk to you real soon. Bye.